Today we are reviewing a movie about a teenage girl who gets cancer. Wait, hold on. Stop the titles. What's going on, you guys? Roll the other one. No, f you. Get out of here. Oh, hey. So Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl stars Thomas Mann, Olivia Cooke, Molly Shannon, Ron Swanson, and John Bernthal. So it's a coming-of-age story about Greg, played by Thomas Mann. He's an introvert high schooler who's also a filmmaker. And he befriends a high school girl played by Olivia Cooke who is just diagnosed with cancer. I love me a good coming-of-age high school movie. It's one of my favorite genres. Two of my favorite movies of all time are The Perks of Being a Wallflower and The Breakfast Club. It's a genre I hold dear to my heart, and while Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl isn't up there with those two films, it's still an excellent movie. Now, the movie does suffer from some character development, I'll get into that later, but this is one of the most unique movies of the entire year. The writing, the style, the camera techniques, it all feels different in the best way possible. The pro is the comedy. This is one of the smartest written movies of 2015. The first 30 to 40 minutes of this movie, every single joke hits. The dialogue is great, the comedy is weird, but it still works. My favorite part of the film is the fact that Greg is a filmmaker, and the films that he makes are knockoffs of really famous films. They would take out a word from a famous movie, put in another one that sounds exactly like it, and that's how they would make their movies. You'll see glimpses of said film in the movie, and I loved it as a film fan. The references were awesome. If you are a dedicated film fan like I am, you will love these references. But here's the con when it comes to the screenplay. The first 30 to 40 minutes of this movie is a non-stop barrage of comedy. You're getting a joke every other line. And it was incredible, I was loving it up to that point. But then after that, the movie took a really screeching halt when it came to the comedy, and let me explain. I do love the rest of the movie, let me get that out of the way. When you get 30 to 40 minutes of jokes up to here, and then the rest of it to be down here, it's too much of a drop-off. Yes, I do understand that the rest of the film wanted to go more into its emotional depth, but the writing in the movie as a whole felt too uneven. I'm not saying the rest of the film had to be the non-stop barrage of comedy we got in the first 30 to 40 minutes, but I'm just saying the drop-off could have been a little smaller. I want to talk about the camera shots and techniques of this film, because I feel like most reviews nowadays don't touch on that. Camera techniques that a director uses is very crucial to a film, and I feel like that is something that needs to be talked about. I absolutely adore the camera shots and techniques used by director Alfonso Gomez-Rejon. The film does a lot of continuous takes, but not in the way of Birdman. It kind of does its own thing. And then there are also camera techniques that are much like Wes Anderson, but once again, they do their own thing with it. And my favorite shot of this movie is something that I need to talk about. It's during this fight between Thomas Mann and Olivia Cooke. Having this really big emotional fight, and it stays on one shot the entire time. The entire fight is one shot, and when you see it, you'll know it, and it's so powerful in my opinion. The scene felt so much more personal and intimate, and it's the little things like that that I love about this movie. And when it comes to the performances, you're not gonna find a bad one in this film. The two leads of this movie, Thomas Mann and Olivia Cooke, these are two actors I want to see in more stuff. Both of them played their characters so well. They really understood their characters. And they also have very good chemistry with each other, which is very important. And the rest of the movie is rounded out by a fantastic supporting cast. John Bernthal as a high school teacher, Nick Overman as Thomas Mann's dad, Molly Shannon steals the show as Olivia Cooke's mom, and finally RJ Klein as Earl. Fantastic job all around. And this movie features narration, which I'm not really a big fan of, but there is something done in the narration from Thomas Mann's character that makes it feel so personal and necessary. And finally, the last thing I want to touch on is the last 20 minutes of this movie and why I loved it. Pretty much the last 20 minutes of this movie relies entirely on score and pretty much no dialogue. It was such a bold choice by the director to do that, and it paid off big time. I was just in a trance for the last 20 minutes of this movie, and that's mostly because of the incredible score. It was the music the last 20 minutes that really made this all work. And now let's talk about the con. I only have one, I mentioned it earlier, and it's the characters. The character of Olivia Cooke, the one diagnosed with cancer, you don't really get a lot of background to her. She's pretty much introduced with just having cancer, and that's pretty much it. I wish we had gotten to know a little bit more about her character so I can feel more emotionally invested. And also the character motivation of Thomas Mann. Some of the things he does in this movie, it really made me thought, why would you do that? I get that some of the actions are supposed to reflect what his character is supposed to be, but some of it I just didn't understand. So Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl is one of the best films I've seen of 2015 so far. This is a movie you guys should definitely check out. It'll be out in theaters on June 12th, and I will give it 4.25 out of 5 reels. What did you guys think of Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl? Make sure to comment below, hit that subscribe button, hit me up on Twitter at my website, brendanhasablog.wordpress.com. Till next time, I'm Brendan Weissman. Peace!